I'm going to walk through some of the examples on today's or this week's worksheet. What we want to do with trig functions is identify which ones we're using to solve problems that involve angles or sides and finding how long they are or what size they are. In the first four examples, we're asked to find the trig ratio as a fraction in a decimal. We keep this little acronym here, SOHCAHTOA, to help us remember sine, cosine, and tangent. Sine is the opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So for number one, what I've done in each of these four is I've identified which angle is it that we're working with. It's C, Z, C, and C. So I've gone to my picture and circled those angles. That will help me to identify opposite and adjacent sides. First thing we always do with right triangles is find our right angle, go directly across from it to the longest side, and we label it as the hypotenuse. So I've done that in red in each of these four pictures. Next thing we want to do is look at what is our trig function in each example: cosine, sine, tangent, sine. And then we go to our ratio. So for cosine, we want the adjacent along with the hypotenuse. Now the adjacent side is the side that connects the angle in question to the right angle. Adjacent means next to or touching. So this side here would be the adjacent. So for number one, we would say the cosine of C is the adjacent over the hypotenuse, or 35 over 37. That would be our fraction answer. To get our decimal, we'll use our calculator. 35 divided by 37 equals. And then we'll look at the calculator, we'll go up to 4 decimal points. 0 point, and we'll go 4 places. For number two, it's a sine. The sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So here's Z, we're going to go opposite. So sine of Z is going to be 32 over 40. We'll do the same process, use our calculator, get that to a decimal. For 3, we want tangent, so we need opposite and adjacent. We don't need the hypotenuse on this one, even though we've already identified it. The opposite would be 36, because it's across from C, over the adjacent, which is 15. Remember, the adjacent is the side between the angle we're using and the right angle. So it's 36 over 15. That's how we do this first section.